This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
The Fedora Files.
Hello and welcome to the Fedora Files. I am Gregory Fedora. I'm so excited that you all are here, and I just want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Happy Little Monsters Volumes 1 through 4, which are available on Amazon, as well as Transcendental Tourist Volume 1, which was written by our very own Chip Stetson. We got a great show for you, and I want to bring on the guest. It's our favorite. He is one ghoul guy, Chip Stetson. Welcome.
Oh, that was horrible. One ghoul guy. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about what would I call you? So,
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year. I guess it's the first time we talked since then.
Yeah. Welcome back. You've had a pretty eventful time.
Yeah, it was a busy couple of months. Well, as you can see, I'm a little congested, so bear with me. But no, we talked about this before. I just came back from Tombstone back in November, and then this past December headed down to Savannah and spent a few days there, and then we also jumped over to Tybee Island for New Year's. So no, it's been a lot of traveling, a lot of fun, meeting a lot of people, seeing a lot of cool places.
Cool. So now, what did you want to talk about today?
Well, since I just
got so many you could talk about.
Yeah, no, since I just came from Savannah, I figured I'd talk about that. It's actually a city that's been built on its dead. No matter where you go or where you dig up, chances are you're going to find bodies. They didn't really have anything that was, laid out. And then when they did, they've had fires, they've had civil wars, they've had all sorts of things happen, and they lose track of the bodies. And in fact, there's a cemetery there called the Colonial Cemetery. And you can walk inside. It's almost like a park. There's even a playground that's attached to the side of it, which is a little unusual. They've got maybe 750 tombstones there, but there's probably over 35,000 bodies located in this area. They've lost tombstones to vandals, natural disasters, just whatever. And when you take a look at it, it seems very sparse. Like, oh, this doesn't look like very big. So it is packed with bodies. In fact, if you look at the sidewalk, it's a lot of bricks. But you can kind of see where there's it's not really level. It almost looks like an undulating river. It's because there's coffins that have deteriorated. And of course, once they do, they, collapse. And so does the sidewalk. So wherever you go, you're walking on somebody's grave. So it's well, the interesting thing about this is the same sidewalk. They're bricks, red bricks, and they have carvings of spirals and lines and stuff like that. And what I was told was this is meant to represent a river, a stream, water, because as you know, paranormal or ghosts have trouble crossing over moving water. So to keep the ghosts or the spirits inside the cemetery, they created this sidewalk in the bricks to represent, simulate or not simulate, represent a river, trying to keep the spirits inside the cemetery. So
how's that working?
Well, it doesn't work too well. In fact, if you go online, there's a video. Just type in Colonial Cemetery ghost footage. This guy, I think it was like a 15-year-old kid who was just filming around Colonial Cemetery. And out of nowhere, this little kid, toddler, just starts running across the screen. Nobody seems to notice this kid. And then he runs behind a cemetery or a tombstone, disappears, and this mist or this fog just, ends up rising from where the kid was. And then after a few moments, the kid comes back out and runs away. But nobody reacts to him. Nobody seems to see him. And it seems like the only way you can see him is on this video. So kind of interesting. It's also fun to watch. So
that's
look it up. It's really neat. Now, while we were there, I had to try some of the local food, and of course they have amazing seafood, and but they have Leopold's ice cream, which is the number one selling ice cream in Savannah.
Mhm.
We were walking around, and it's right next to a theater that has marquee and everything like that. And there's this huge line outside. And I was like, oh, well, wonder what movies showing. I haven't heard of anything coming out that would be that exciting, that many people be in line for. And as we're getting closer, it was the line to the ice cream place. This had to have at least 100 people waiting in line just for ice cream.
Wow.
So, yeah. Now, the movie theater right next to it is actually one of the oldest, it's the oldest continually used theater in the United States. I think it was built like in 1818 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And it is notorious for having a lot of unexplained things happen.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there was one time when there was a show that was going on, and the ladies, the actresses, were in the back, and they were in like this, they were changing, and they started getting this really uncomfortable feeling like something evil was in there, and it freaked them all out to the point where they all started screaming, ran out of the dressing room and into the streets, and they weren't able to continue the production. There's been a police officer that walks around late at night. He said that he's heard applause and like an entire crowd, is cheering for performers, but nobody's in there, so like I said, there's a lot of spirits in Savannah, and some of them are friendly, some of them aren't.
But they seem to all like the theater.
Yeah, well, who doesn't like the theater?
Yeah.
I love the theater.
They're cultural ghosts.
Yeah. Well, it also has a lot of history. Now, one of the first places I went to while we were there was called the Pirate House. It's one of the oldest buildings around there. It was built in the old Irish quarter, and it's called the Pirate House. I really don't think it saw any pirates, maybe privateers, which I think the only difference between a privateer and a pirate is privateer pays taxes to the crowd. So they did the same thing, just one was legal and good, the other was evil and bad.
Yeah,
so figure that one out. But it was rumored that there was an underground tunnel that went from the Pirate House down to the river, and they used to Shanghai people and put them on the privateer ships, and they haven't been able to really prove that. There's a lot of weird things that happen at this place. There's been a couple of people that work there that refuse to go back there. The second floor is their gift shop, but it used to be like a jazz bar, and they'd also sell food, stuff like that. And for some reason, one of the waitresses, she was washing out the coffee pots, and she'd hang them up on a drying rack. She walked over to the door, and they'd fly off the wall and they'd shatter. And this didn't just happen to her; it happened to another waitress there as well. I don't know what it has against coffee, but it sounds more like a poltergeist than anything like that. There was one time, maybe he liked Irish coffee. I don't know. It was in the Irish section, but there was a cook who also was working by himself one night, and as he's working and he's cleaning up, he said this sailor dressed in like 18th, 19th century garb was walking through, stops, stares at him, looks at him really evilly. I don't know how that comes across, but that's how he said, and then just walks through the door without opening it and disappears. So after that, he did not work the shift by himself. He always had to make sure somebody else was there. He also said that while he was wiping down places in the dining room, there's a piano there. As he was wiping it down, he saw the reflection of a face and two menacing eyes looking at him in the reflection while nobody was there behind him. So, he didn't stick around there too long. He found someplace else to work. The waitress did too. And the ironic thing is she went from the Pirate House to another location that was also haunted. So I guess,
but she didn't pick well. Yeah.
No, well, it sounded like those ghosts were a little bit more pleasant. They weren't, angry or anything like that. But like I said, it is a city where it is built on the dead, and wherever you go, wherever you're standing, chances are you're over a dead body.
Yeah, and it seems like no matter where you go to work, you're gonna be dealing with ghosts.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, they've got, all sorts of, it's not just the restaurants either. I mean, they've got the what was it? I'm sorry. Can't remember the name of the place. I think I talked about it before. It's a brewing company. And it's in a tall building. It's like multi-stories, but they haven't been able to do anything beyond the first floor renovation because every time they try to go in, construction workers or whoever's up there, they get scared off. One time, one of the contractor's wives was at the top of the stairs and she got shoved by an entity, fell down the stairs, broke her ankle, refused to go back, and the contractor refused to go back after that either because it was kind of his fault because he was making fun of the ghost. Or, he didn't believe in them. He was taunting them. So when she showed up, I guess they were like, all right, it's our time to prove that we're here. So they went after her instead of him. But they made the point, and he refused to go after that too. But no, there's all sorts of businesses, restaurants, wherever you can go. I mean, the chances are there's been a haunting, there's been a poltergeist, there's been somebody that was experiencing something.
Right. So what was one of the craziest stories that you call?
Well, there was something with the Colonial. There was a story about this kid. He grew up. He had giganticism, kind of like Andre the Giant.
Okay, yeah.
And all the kids, they wanted to play with him. And he used to hang out in Colonial's park, cemetery, but it's kind of more of a park than anything. And since the other kids would play with him, he'd play with the animals like squirrels, birds. But his idea of playing with them was breaking their necks and killing them. So, as time went by, children started showing up with the same issue. They'd find him dead, neck broken. So they thought it was him. Well, the mom was trying to protect him, and she's like, look, it wasn't him. He wouldn't do that. In fact, I'll prove it. I'm going to chain him up in the basement. He won't be able to leave the house. And if the killings keep going, then he didn't do it. But if they stop, then, you can do with him what you want. Well, she chained him up. The killings kept happening. So she felt vindicated, but the mom still didn't like him. So they went out and they killed him. Now, if you're walking around, sometimes late at night, you can see this 7-foot tall, dark, black mass in the cemetery. And if the body turns to look at you, you need to run because it will chase you, but only within a 3-block radius of the cemetery. I mean, you'll hear footsteps and they'll keep getting closer. You look around, you'll see something chasing you. And, once you pass that 3-block radius, they'll stop. I don't know what happens if you get caught. I don't think anybody was, stupid enough to say, hey, I wonder what he wants to talk about. So
I think you need to go back and find out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass. I got to say, I took one of their local ghost tours. My nephews were on that. I think it was the first time that they've done something like that as well. But the person that gave the tour was fantastic. I mean, he did an incredible job telling stories and helping. He knew the history, he knew the locations, he knew the stories. So we had a lot of fun. There was we started off meeting at one of the town square or the squares that they have in the historical district, and they had something there they called the hanging tree. That's where they used to, dole out justice. And one of the rumors is if you touch or you put your hand on the tree trunk, after a certain amount of time, you'll start feeling like your neck getting like you had a noose on it and it was closed against. So you have trouble breathing. So my nephew, he's pretty ballsy. He went up and I got a picture of him. He's just standing there with his hand on the tree. He said he didn't feel anything. Who knows? Maybe you have to have some sort of power or not power gift to be able to feel something like that, like a psychic or something like that.
But you didn't do it? You didn't stick your hand on a tree?
No, I was too busy filming everything.
Yeah. Sure, that's your excuse.
No, it was a lot of fun. The guy's name was Crow. Well, he called himself Crow. He had one of the COVID masks on, but it was
plague mask thing.
Yeah, but it was shaped like a crow. It wasn't quite as intricate or ornate, but I mean, his eyes were open, but similar to the plague mask. So, but he did a great job. I was really impressed with it.
Very cool, very cool. So you would recommend going to Savannah?
Oh, absolutely. I've been down there, I think 4 or 5 times just in the last decade. It's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of interesting places you can go to. There's a dueling piano bar called Savannah Smiles, and I've never seen so many people getting into, sing-alongs. And they had 4 or 5 different piano players, and they'd alternate each one.
Oh, cool.
And they played, and they took requests and stuff like that. And of course, the more drunk the crowd got, the more they sang along with it. They even performed the "Happy Happy Joy Joy" song from Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, very cool.
It was a lot of fun watching everybody say. Luckily, I knew the words. Yeah, it was hard to forget. But people were bouncing up and down, just jumping and dancing. It was really surprising. I had a good time though.
Very awesome. So now my question for you now is,
Uh-huh.
You did Transcendental Tourist Volume 1.
Yes.
Are you working on Volume 2?
I am working on Volume 2. I wasn't sure. For a while there, I was thinking about doing Gettysburg and then Savannah and Tombstone. But I think I'm going to try with Tombstone and Savannah being fresh in my mind. I think I'm going to try to do both of those roughly about the same time. So Volume 2 and 3 might be coming out one right after another, if not at the same time. But I am looking at doing one for each of those cities because there's so much to go over there. There's so many different interesting places and people. It's hard to, like the first one, I was kind of getting the feel for things. So it's kind of all over the place. I mean, it had Arkansas, Texas, Ohio, So this one I'm going to try and stay a little bit more focused and local to the area and go over as many of those stories as I can.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know other
Me
people
too.
are too. So do you have any more trips planned in the near future?
Well, let me see. Well, actually, I've got a wedding I got to go to in April. It's in Texas.
Is it going to be haunted? Is it going to be a haunted wedding?
I don't think it's going to be a haunted one, but I am meaning to go back up to Mansfield. Would like to get out to Gettysburg with you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all good.
But no, I would like to get back up to Gettysburg with you because there's a lot of different.
There's so much up there.
Well, we took a specific ghost tour, and it seemed like it stayed localized to just one street, one house, one area. Where the north and south. I think it was the New Orleans troop that was fighting, and I'd like to see something that kind of expanded on more places. The bridge that he kept showing us, all the ghostly activities and the lights and stuff like that. And I'd like to see that at night too. So we still have a lot of places to go, but with it being Gettysburg right around the corner from you, so I'd love to be able to do that again.
I think we need to also go up and search the South Mountain because supposedly there's a lot of haunted things that happen on South Mountain.
That would be
cool. Right near me as well, so we should
check it out. That's walking distance.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to hit the Washington Monument up there.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, I know you got stuff going on, and I thank you for coming in and sharing with us. I can't wait to see volumes 2 and 3 of Transcendental Tourist.
I'm looking forward to them coming out too. And thanks for dealing with me. I'm a little plugged up from the weather, just congested and hard to breathe and hard to talk. But no, I appreciate you bringing me on to let me talk about it.
Oh yeah, it's always fun, man. It's always fun. And we'll have you back on because I have some ideas I want to throw at you and bring you on for some other non-ghostly episodes.
Well, that'd be cool.
In the near future, so I'll be bringing you back. But
sounds perfect.
Yeah, we'll tell your family I said hello.
I will. Yours as well. I hope everybody's doing good.
They are. And for those of you who are watching or listening or however you found us, thank you for coming by. And remember to, as always, stay safe and keep searching.
The Fedora Files.
Check out fedoracrt.com today.